Well folks, we are here already. The last day of Special Projects Pack number 8. It's flown by once again. This time, of course, as I mentioned in last month's pack, where I did, of course, an ST5 class, or Super Taikyu Racing Mazda 2. Now, or the Mazda Demio, I guess, as it's more commonly called. This time I said I was going to do one for Toyota, one for Honda, and one for Mazda. Interestingly, they all come out to the exact same weight, which is pretty cool as well. It's almost like they knew that you'd do something like this in the game. So this one, of course, being kind of more famous because we used to have the Spoon Honda Fit in Gran Turismo, but it was the older shape. Again, it was one of those kind of cup cars that very few players seem to actually use, but it was always a really cool little car. Likewise with this one, this is, at least if memory serves, I think the most powerful of the three. Even if you adhere to the Super Taikyu rules of having like sports upgrades, but they're not too crazy in terms of their upgrades. We'll get more into how it drives in a second when we take it around Tsukuba, but for now, we've got sports equipment, because of course that adheres to the rules of Super Taikyu. So sports pads, sports silencer, filter, and computer, stage 1 weight. We've got comfort mediums as standard, but I've upgraded those a little bit to sports hards. We've got, for the club sports section, the sports clutch, flywheel, and discs. Of course, stage 2 weight as well. You don't need to bother with the power restrictor and ballast on this one. As far as the semi-racing stuff, we've got the fully customised diff. I've opted for the fully customised manual gearbox. Of course, you could go for the full race one if you want to, but again, I wanted it to feel a bit more, regulation adherent and a bit more realistic. We've got the height adjustable sports suspension. As far as the racing stuff, there is nothing fitted there. For the extreme stuff, you might actually want to go for the steering angle adapter, or at least you might want to give it a try, because it's not that expensive to fit. I, as you can tell, have not done that, but being a small front-wheel drive car, it could actually make it even better. So if you want to give that a try, you could. Of course, that would not necessarily be the kind of thing that the actual Super Taikyu car would have, so I'll leave that up to you. And then for this section, the ultimate stuff, we don't have anything fitted there. So like I said, these builds are, as with the Mazda and as with the Toyota that's still to come, they're super easy to do. And of course, there are doubtless plenty of players who have done plenty of different racing liveries that you can choose from. I like this one that we're going with, so like I said at the start of the video, you can grab the link to this one to add it to your library by hitting the link right below the video in the description. As far as the actual upgrades, of course, we've got the sports hards fitted. As far as the suspension, we've got the ride height on 90mm, which is as low as it can go. I know some of us don't like to go all the way down because you can bottom out and become a bit unstable. I'll leave it down to you if you want to make it a little bit higher to counteract that. I don't personally find that it's really an issue in this car because it's not the quickest thing around, it's not the most powerful thing around. Plus it's pretty light anyway, so it's not like you've got a huge amount of weight shifting around. So like I said, give it a try, and if you feel like you need to change it, then of course I'll leave that down to you. We've got 1 on the anti-roll, 35 for the compression on the dampers, 45 for the rebound, 2.05 for the springs, 1 degree of camber on the front and none on the back. And then as far as the toe, that is set on 0.20 in on the rear, which isn't exactly what I'd want for a front-wheel drive car, but that's what you've got with the height adjustable springs. I guess if you want to overcome that, you could go for the full race suspension, but again, that seems like kind of overkill, really, for Super Taikyu, so that's the only reason why I didn't. As far as the diff, we've got 1010, at least that's what I'm going for. As far as the fully customised gearbox, I've opted for a 200km/h auto setting, so what's that, up around 120-ish miles an hour, I guess. It could probably do a little bit more than that, and if you need to extend those, of course you can go ahead and do that. No adjustment over here, no downforce to mess around with, and of course you can see what few things we did fit are over here. So it's pretty easy, and it's pretty simple. I believe the point level on this one is a bit higher than the Mazda. I want to say the Mazda was like 444, I think it was, something like that. So this one is a fair bit higher at 464, and this one is definitely the quickest of the three in a straight line. They do seem to favour the Honda Fit out of the three, but we'll now jump out, of course, to Tsukuba to show you what it can do in practice. Now, this one is quicker than the Mazda around Tsukuba, but it's only within the same kind of second of difference. Now, fair enough, around Tsukuba, a second of difference is quite a big difference, given that the lap only takes just over a minute anyway, but that's not a huge amount of difference where it actually matters. And what I mean by that is on a twisty circuit. On a straight line circuit, because I actually did a race some time ago where I had all 3 of them driven by AI cars in one of my custom events, and it was on Fuji. And the Honda, this one, ran away with the victory out of those 3 AI cars because it just had such a straight line advantage. So if you are looking for the quickest of the 3, it's definitely this one in a straight line, but the payoff or the trade-off to that is that it's definitely not as good through corners as the Mazda. The Mazda is a lot more playful, it feels even more compact, and the Mazda actually feels lighter, even though they weigh exactly the same. The Honda has a bit more of an understeer to it, and like I said, you could counteract that with full race suspension, but again, that kind of goes against the spirit of Super Taikyu, so it depends how far you want to push it. There is still one of these to come, which I may do next month for Toyota, and then you'll have all 3 to do maybe some one-make racing with, or I guess that's not one-make racing, but you know what I mean, some like lower-level cup car events. So if you do decide to use it, I hope you enjoy it, and of course there is only 1 tune remaining in Special Projects Pack number 8. So of course stick around later on today for that one. I hope you've enjoyed the other 8 aside from this one, and of course I'll see you later on with another. But for now, thanks for watching.